So first day, pretty much, I'm just gonna be looking into this thing, seeing what all I want to replace. I'm gonna tear apart a few other things underneath the hood today. Take it out. I'll show you a view of the car right now. And it is a 72 Mach 1 Mustang. This was my dad's car. 351. Pretty much we're going to be taking out the whole engine. Probably won't get to that today, but that is the main goal here. I know today, getting this out, the radiator fan, all of its components, we're going to take that out today. See what we're working with underneath the car. So far I got a good bit of the inside tore down. Still got some wires that got to get taken out. Gonna get the whole thing just completely stripped down and then basically start from scratch. Gonna be a very long process. Trunk took off a while ago as well. Has a dent in the back of it that I am currently trying to get fixed before it's sent off to paint. But paint will come way later. But that's what we're gonna start with for now. And there's a big old scratch right there. I just noticed that. No worries, we're getting the paint anyway. But that's where we're at right now. The start of the teardown. Well, partial start. I already kind of tore down the inside, but that's where we are for now. And we'll keep these videos coming and keep it posted with the whole journey of the Mach 1.
Yeah. Days up under the car, getting ready to drain all of the oils out. Just don't get bit by nothing up under there. Pay attention to where you put your hands.
Alright guys, so at this point here, I was just taking apart the radiator fan, pit radiator fan guard, and the radiator itself. I was getting that stuff out of the car. I had a little trouble with disconnecting the radiator overflow hose, as you can see there. So, and since I'm planning on getting new hoses and wires anyway, I just decided to go ahead and snip that hose. So yeah, I snipped that one off, and then I also snipped the water pump hoses, which you'll see here in a moment. But snip that, get it out the way, and then there were two bolts on top of the radiator guard, well, the fan guard, excuse me. I had to get those out in order to pull the radiator out one at a time from the guard fit. Alright, so let's see here. So I'm getting that stuff unscrewed, getting the right tool and everything. After I take off each one of these bolts, I go ahead and put it in a bag or something along like that. Set it alongside of the car or inside the car. Alright, so got the bolts off. The fan guard was free and the radiator itself was free. As you see, I just pulled that out. I had a little bit of coolant still in it, just a little bit. I'll set that to the side. More than likely I'm gonna get a brand new radiator for it, so I'm not really big worried on that. So there, the hoses that were running out from the AC compressor. So this video just me pretty much labeling each one of my hoses so I remember where they go. It's always a good idea if you ever do something like this to go ahead and label. You see my loud son in the background with his toy. But it's always a good idea to go ahead and label these hoses and wires if you're doing something like this. So when it's time to install everything, you don't have trouble putting it back together. Right there you can see my water pump hoses that I snipped off. All these hoses are hard to get off because they've been sitting for so long. And there's a whole bunch of buildup in the water pump there. That's what that is. So we still have the alternator and the fan still in place. And also the compressor for the AC. Alright, so now there are three different belts. There are three different belts on this engine and three different tensioners. So that's basically what I'm pointing at now in this video. One of the tensions was the there it is, this steering power pump, the power steering pump. That one, I'm bolting a long bolt right now, and that is actually going to drop the power steering pump down and allow me to take that one belt off. Well, actually I think I already took it off in this video, but once you take it all the way off, of course the whole pump kind of just falls down like that. So all bolts are out of the power steering pump now. That's ready to come out, but it still has two lines running from it, but we'll get to that later on in the video. The next thing was the AC compressor. So the AC compressor was connected to an axle, a plate was actually underneath it. So there's 4 bolts that I actually had to take apart from that in order to get the AC compressor free, and that is actually what I'm working on now. One thing that I do also is when I take the bolts out of something, I put it back in whatever I took it out, just so it helps, keep from losing anything. Alright, so we got the AC compressor disconnected. Now we have 2 lines, the actual power line to it, and then a ground wire that have to come off as well. The power line just easily turn and pull. There's a fuse inside, that little glass fuse there. I end up dropping it in this video, like that. But I got it. It's still good. But The next thing was to take that ground wire off. My handy assistant there handed me my tool. She was a big help. Alright, so we got the ground wire off. Set it to the side. Put the bolt back in the compressor. Oh, there it is. It's free. AC compressor is completely off. You see those two hoses right there that I smelt? They went from the hot and the cold. Alright, so we're back down here now. And that is our power steering pump. You see the dipstick in it. And there are two lines running from it that go into the steering wheel column. Alright. So on the other side of the engine, there is an alternator that I disconnected. It just had two bolts in it, and it actually held the tension on the belt as well. You have to pull it a certain way in order for it to pull the tension on it. But the only thing that's left connected to it is this one power cable. Well, it's actually like two or three put together, wrapped up. But that was the only thing that was left connected. And basically, I'm kind of tracing it so I know which wires go where when I reinstall the new alternator. Alright, so those are the wires right there. Then we got the alternator. Three nuts on this that I had to take off, and it pops right on off. Alright, so we got that off. I hopped underneath the car, kind of seeing what I was working with. See the drive shafts there, little rusting outside. You see the color it used to be. So we got the exhaust pipes here. That is what I'm gonna take those off and replace everything on them, pretty much the whole exhaust system except for my dad's tips. I'm gonna keep the exhaust tips just because I've always loved how they look, and they are still in great shape. So you gotta excuse the camera movement. I needed to get my camera lady down here to help me out. But here I'm taking apart the exhaust. There was 4 clips total, 2 on each pipe, holding it up on the rear end. I believe that's a 14 millimeter socket that I'm using to take these off. So we got that off, and then went back to the engine bay area. You see the gas line right there. Tracing those lines up just to make sure I remember where they went, where they go when it's time to reinstall that new hose and new line. There was one electrical wire going to the distributor, and then it was time to pull this thing out. So I kind of fast forward through the chaining it up and everything, but I mean, I'll be more detailed in it when I'm putting it back in for you guys. But as you see, I got it chained up. I got the engine a little bit, pulled up just a little. This was actually a little bit more challenging because I left my long tube headers on. So yeah, you see my long tube headers right there. I left those on because I couldn't really get a good angle to take them off underneath the car. So, and with that came issues because every time I pulled, I had to drop the engine back down because it would hang on something like my MSD initiation system wires or something like that. Alright, so it was a bunch of up and down, up and down, up and down. You see, the thing doesn't look too bad. I just gotta clean up a whole bunch of stuff there. Alright. Alright, so now I'm kind of trying to readjust the engine and figure out how to get this thing out without causing too much damage, or any damage rather. But yeah, you see I'm pulling it up yet again. Made a few adjustments, moved the engine a little bit up, get it loose on one side, then the other side wants to catch, so you gotta kind of play with it back and forth. So we're cranking that thing on up. Since we're looking at them, those long tube headers, I'm actually looking at getting some new ones. Some headers called Patriots. If any of you guys know anything about those, let me know. Just trying to see, trying to decide what I want to go with. I know, I kind of know what I'm gonna go with as far as my muffler. On this part here, we finally got the engine out. That was the last step of that. So the engine bay is completely clear. Just got to get in there and clear wires out. That transmission is a man. That thing was extremely heavy to be so small. Did not think it would be that heavy. The one in the Ranger was probably half the weight of the one in this Mustang. Alright, so we got the engine out. It's raining really hard. We got the engine out. I got that pulled. Got all the wires left in here. I'm gonna go ahead and next time when I'm down here, and I'm gonna pull all the wires out, clean this area up real good, and get it painted when the car gets painted. The transmission down there, disconnected it. Underneath, there's still one exhaust pipe on there still. The other one I took off already. The only reason I did take that one off is because I didn't have clearance to take it off the way I took the other one off. So I'll get that next time, along with the gas tank. So we got the drive shaft, the other exhaust pipe, and this is a new part that didn't come off the car. Over here, we got, well, these did not come, I didn't take those off. So we got the alternator over here. this side we got the power steering pump. And over here we got the AC compressor. And right there is the tray that the AC compressor sits on. And then the battery tray is over there too. New air filters. That's old but new panel for the car. Inside, floorboard. That's the beat. So the engine's out now. The goal and plan for this is a complete teardown. Clean up real good. And I'm gonna get it, test it real good before putting it back in, make sure everything's good on it. But I'll start the tear down on the motor probably the next time I come back home. Hopefully I'm down here for more than one day. That's the progress so far. I'd say it's been a pretty good day. Got most of what I wanted to do done today, minus the one exhaust pipe and the gas tank. But pretty much all the wires, all the line pipes, all that stuff is gonna get taken out, marked, and I'm gonna get new ones. And like I said, I'll do the next step along with tearing down the motor, and we will go from there.